Firstly, I know that you're all hungry, so I won't take very long to try and keep this simple and short. But what a refreshingly different parliament we saw today. You know, a parliament where the speaker is neutral. The speaker actually gives opportunity to the opposition as well. So I think we should thank the honourable speaker firstly. We should also. And the refreshing change in the sense that both the treasury benches and the opposition both in fact showed a lot of civility towards each other. Typically they say parliamentary language में बोलना है, पर क्या होता है आपको भी मालूम है, मुझे भी मालूम है. पर इसलिए so I think we should give a big round of applause to all of them. Keeping it very, very civil, but keeping it very, very simple as well. More importantly, I think almost all the issues, that probably can be covered in a short span of time. Important issues like unemployment, important issues such as women's safety, important issues such as road safety and roadworthiness in terms of commuting, and several other international issues also, the war, the Iran-Israel and US war, etc., etc. Many topics have been covered. I compliment all these guys on a fantastic job. I think you guys have done really well. Now, I was asking your principal, Dr. Sister Vijay, if all these guys are prepared on their own or if they have been given some inputs by the teachers. So I think we should give a big round of applause to the faculty as well for preparing these. Let me say one thing. There is a very senior judge in the US Supreme Court, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She had very famously said, "Women belong in all places where decisions are being made. Leadership rarely begins the day someone takes office. Leadership begins much earlier, such as in spaces where ideas are debated, arguments are sharpened, and voices learn not just to speak, but also to be heard." I think that's exactly what we were witnessing at St. Anne's College today. So I think this hall is one such space where you saw young women trying to understand issues, trying to articulate them, trying to enunciate probable solutions as well. Now, I think all of you know just 2 days ago, we had celebrated the International Women's Day. Social media was full of posts, celebrating women's leadership, achievements, etc. But walking into this hall today, actually, it feels far more meaningful than scrolling through those social media posts. Because today, we're not just celebrating women, we are seeing young women preparing to lead this brilliant country of ours, brilliant state of ours. So I think you see a lot of young women in this room here who possibly, potentially, can become politicians, can become leaders, can become public representatives, can become really change makers. Before speaking about larger themes and before speaking about education, because we are in an education institution, let me also acknowledge something important about your institution, the St. Anne's College of Women. Today, education has increasingly become a very noisy space. It's all about marketing. Marketing everywhere, rankings everywhere, promotions everywhere. But institutions like St. Anne's, I said this to your principal as well, represent something far more meaningful. For decades, for almost 43 years, St. Anne's College has quietly gone about it, doing quality education and consistently doing this, the real work that is needed. That is something really appreciable. And all of this has been done without any noise, without spectacle, but with enormous impact. You have educated, ma'am, generations of young women and prepared them to step into the world with confidence, independence, and purpose. And when an institution goes a step further and creates a platform like Youth Parliament, it does something even more significant. It encourages young women not just to pursue careers, but also to engage with governance, public life, and leadership qualities as well. Let me share something interesting with you. On January 26, 1950, India became a republic. On that very same day, Supreme Court of India also was established. And yet, almost 8 decades later, we're almost on the verge of 8 decades plus, India has never had a women Chief Justice so far. This fact should not discourage you. In fact, it should encourage you. Very soon we will be having our first Chief Justice of India, a lady Chief Justice of India, Justice Nagarjuna. Hopefully, some of you in this room, because you're all students of BA, public admin, I think journalism and multiple other courses, hopefully the next Chief Justice of India can also come from a hall like this. A young woman can start leading this country. As you all know, we are the world's largest democracy. But democracy does not necessarily mean elections alone and speeches alone. Democracy is when people participate. When citizens participate, when citizens are aware, when citizens are thoughtful, when they are responsible, and when they are willing to engage with leadership. But what do I mean when I say participate? Most of you young women have voting rights. Anybody who is above the age of 18 has a voting right. How many of you have had the opportunity to vote so far? You've had the opportunity, but did you vote? You did? No, I'm glad you did if you did. Because one of the things I see and I really feel sad for is young, educated voters in India, especially those living in urban pockets like Hyderabad. They don't show up to vote. उनके लिए इलेक्शन का दिन छुट्टी का दिन है. उनको लगता है कि उस दिन हॉलिडे मिल गया, फिर कौन जाएगा वो बूथ पे और 1-2 घंटे वहां खड़े रहना और टाइम वेस्ट क्यों करना. But the fact of democracy is, in a democracy, politics decides your future. In a democracy, politics decides your future. I heard the loudest cheer when the girl who was representing Ravichandra spoke about how bad our roads are, how many potholes there are. आप लोग बहुत ज़्यादा ताली मार रहे थे. पर आपको एक बात मैं याद दिलाना चाहता हूँ कि अगर आप पार्टिसिपेट नहीं करते हो आपके कॉर्पोरेटर इलेक्शन में, आपके कॉर्पोरेटर को चुनने में, if you don't participate in electing your local corporator, local MLA, local member of parliament, what happens is only those who show up to vote, their opinion counts. Only their thoughts and their views count. Those who don't show up, unfortunately, even though you might have the best of intentions, even though you might want the best of roads, best of colleges, best of facilities, if you don't show up and vote those people who have the right intentions, then nothing counts. So my humble appeal to all of you, when I say you have to be involved and participate in the process, I don't mean all of you have to start contesting elections. At least participate in the process, at least show up. 1-2 घंटा लगेगा. आइए, लाइन में खड़े हो जाइए, and maybe take the bull by the horn. And if you don't like somebody out, kick them out. If you like somebody, vote them in. That's how democracy thrives. So my humble request to all of you, please participate. Social media में तो आप सभी लोग हैं. I'm sure all of you are in Insta. All of you. कोई Twitter पे भी है. कम. क्या Twitter भूलों का है? Insta पे सब लोग हैं. Insta पे रील देखना तो आसान है, स्वाइप करना आसान है. I wish it was so easy, as easy, to change our governments just like that when you don't like the road. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Insta पे you can just, move something in a second, microsecond. But government को 5 साल के लिए चुना जाता है. एक बार अगर गलती करते हो, तो उसके साथ 5 साल आपको झेलना पड़ेगा. That's what you want to get into your heads. कि एक गलत वोट की सजा 5 साल है. So इसीलिए you have to show up, you have to vote for those people who truly believe that they can do something. My humble request also to you, platforms like this matter. Youth Parliament, because you saw the opposition and the government engage in a debate. A sense of democracy is that. Discuss, debate, and dissent. If you don't like something, you can always...
We object to it. There's a very popular saying in English which says, in a democracy, the opposition has its say and the government has its way. Because the opposition will continue to represent the people's issues. But the government, because they have the majority numbers, they can pass legislations, they can pass resolutions, they can get their business done. But the opposition still should be heard. The opposition should be given a voice only then democracy will truly thrive. I must compliment the leader of opposition here. I don't know your name, beta. Tanu? Tanushri. I wish Rahul Gandhi spoke as eloquently as Tanushri, honestly. Because she spoke really well. When I was listening to you, I was making notes, mental notes. Seriously, very, very well spoken. Honestly, you know, only when opposition raises issues the way she did, only when you're eloquent, only when you succinctly, in the limited time that you're given, you're able to present your argument, only then people can connect to it. So my humble request to all of you, there are issues, there are very, very important issues that have been discussed today. One of the issues that was raised by 2 or 3 members from the opposition was about war. There is so much panic in the country right now. Hotel associations are coming to us saying LPG nahi milne wala hai, hotel band karna padega, etc., etc. There is a panic mode in the country, in India right now as we speak, not just in Iran or Israel or the Middle East. But we are starting to feel the impacts of this mindless war, which was also raised here. But the fact is, when I was listening to these girls, I realized something. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. You know, all the presidents, all the prime ministers, the chiefs, the heads, who are warmongering, I have to say this with utmost candor, have all been men. Have all been men. No women leader in the history of this world has ever taken their nation into a war which led to crimes against women and children. That is a fact of world. It is a fact of matter. Maybe that is the reason why we need more women leaders who have more empathy towards fellow women, fellow children, people who basically are more sensible instead of being, you know, the kind of presidents that we see around today. I don't want to name names because I'm sure there are people watching. So therefore, what I would say is, maybe this is the time for you also to think about politics, public life, etc., etc. There was also discussion on equality. Equality is a very misunderstood word. Equality doesn't just mean providing opportunities. Equality does not mean being given a permission to participate. Equality means an environment where ambition is not questioned. When a young woman wants to be the Chief Justice, when a young woman wants to be the Chief Minister, when a young woman wants to be the Prime Minister, her ambition, or an entrepreneur for that matter, should not be questioned. That's equality for you. Where a young woman can speak with conviction, and yet it should appear normal, not as an exception. Also, we heard about women empowerment. The government was going on and on about empowerment. Atmanirbhar Bharat. Empowerment does not come from slogans. Empowerment comes from confidence. Empowerment comes from confidence. And confidence comes from voice that matters. Confidence that your ideas can be heard, will be heard. Confidence that is built through institutions like St. Anne's College of Women, where education, dialogue, participation, all are encouraged. That's exactly what Youth Parliament today is all about. I would only say one thing to all the young women here. You know, I know you're all in the age group of 18 to 21, or maybe 18 to 22. You know, you're all looking at the world with rose-tinted glasses right now. But I can tell you one thing. Life does not always present opportunities easily. Life ahead is going to be a tough task, so be prepared. But opportunities can be created. While it can be a tough road ahead, opportunities can be created through determination and courage. Several leaders have shown it. One thing I would appeal to all of you. One thing I would appeal to all of you to hear me out and probably go back home and discuss with your parents as well. Please remember, young women, especially at your age, need financial independence. You need to stand on your own 2 feet before thinking of marriage. जब आप अपना खुद की कमाई शुरू करते हो, चाहे आप नौकरी करो या कुछ एंटरप्रेन्योरियल कुछ करो, जब तक आप नहीं करते हो, मेरा तो सलाह है, मेरा तो राय है आपसे, मेरा सजेशन है कि आप जल्दबाजी में शादी नहीं करो. You have to stand on your own feet. You have to stand on your own feet and financially be independent. Only then, self-respect, confidence and freedom to make your own choices, only then, only after achieving this, you should think of marriage. Because otherwise, women across the world, and sorry to be saying this, are pushed into marriages and then they are looked at as baby-making machines, and there ends the story. You're engaged in running a home. You're just a homemaker. And trust me when I say this, don't get me wrong also when I say this, nothing can substitute self-belief, self-respect, and self-reliance. So please be financially independent before thinking of marriage. Governments and institutions can create opportunities, but it is up to you to latch on to them, to hang on to them. You need determination and courage to pursue such opportunities. And you're all growing up in a time when technology is transforming everything. You know, there is a talk that AI is going to take away a lot of jobs. I'm sure you all heard it. I'm sure you're looking at a situation where horror stories like millions of jobs going away, etc., etc. Artificial intelligence, digital platforms, and new technologies are definitely reshaping everything that we have learned so far. But the only way to survive in this world today, remember Darwin's theory of evolution, survival of the fittest. The only way to survive in a competitive world is to constantly skill, upskill, and reskill. If you don't do that, because every human being, forever, till the minute we die, has to be a student learning something new every single day. Or else, we will end up stagnant, we will end up obsolete. So my humble request to also all of you is, learn new skills, build ideas, and create opportunities from anywhere. And please don't obsess over social media. Spending an hour is okay, but I see some kids getting addicted to it. Constantly on the phone, constantly engaged in reels. That's not going to serve any purpose. See, today, you see a 50-year-old man standing in front of you and lecturing on the usage of social media or the ill effects of it. You'll not like me saying it, but you'll remember this later. It's not going to serve any purpose. Achieve something in life first. Accomplish something in life first, and then you have enough and more time to do whatever you want. Let me also tell you that, opportunities are aplenty. You have VHub in Hyderabad, a Women Entrepreneurs Hub. If you have an idea, you can go to VHub, or you can go to T-Hub, you can go to T-Works. All of these institutions have been established by government for youngsters like you. You have to walk in with an idea, and you can walk out with a product. You can walk out with a prototype. That's the power of innovation today. मैं एक चीज आपसे पूछना चाहता हूं. आप आज जब घर जाओगे, when you go back home, look around, or even in your college or in your classroom or in your Audi here, look around. How many of these products that you see around you, including this mic here, or including that air conditioning there, or the lights, etc., etc., how many of them are actually Indian products? You'll hardly see anything. The camera here, it's a Sony, a Japanese make. You see a Blue Star. You see, I don't know where this mic is from. I'm guessing it must be from, again, somewhere, definitely not Indian, something else. So, look around. आपके हाथ में जो फोन है, कौन सी कंपनी है? Samsung होगा, Apple होगा. Is any of the products you're using Indian? We are a country of 1.4 billion people. How come we can't discover something for the rest of the world? एक भी चीज, एक ऐसी चीज बताओ मुझे जो इंडिया ने पूरे दुनिया को दिया हाल ही में. हाँ, कोई बोलता है कि हमने जीरो दिया कभी इतिहास में. हाँ, जीरो तो दिया हमने, पर उसके बाद क्या? Anything that we have done for us to be proud of? We have big slogans, आत्मनिर्भर भारत, this, that. ठीक है, पर कहां हम लोग रह गए? कहां पीछे छोड़ गए? दुनिया कहां पीछे छोड़ गई हमें? Think about it. Why can't you young Indians, young Indian girls, why can't you innovate something? All of you use Snap? All of you use Insta? Some of you use Facebook? No? So Facebook is all old people, huh? समझ गया. So Insta or even Snap or even ChatGPT, I'm sure all of you type your essays there and bring it and submit it to your teachers. Is that right? Most of you do, I know. So let me ask you something. ये क्या कोई ऐसा प्रोडक्ट है क्या Insta जो हम लोग नहीं बना सकते थे? Is it something that's like rocket science which we could not think of? Even Google for that matter, it's a simple search engine. How come none of these products that we use today, not one single product has come from India in the last 8 decades after independence? How come we don't think that, we have to come out with world-class products and, change the world, etc., etc.? How come we lost that appetite? How come we lost that, strive, ambition? Because You guys are told from a very early age कि आपको पढ़ना है, जिंदगी में रिस्क नहीं लेना है, अच्छे मार्क्स लाना है, उसके बाद ही में एक नौकरी करना है, उसके बाद ही में शादी करना है, उसके बाद में शादी करना है. उतना ही ना. किसी को बोलते हैं कि लॉयर बनो, किसी को बोलते हैं कि डॉक्टर बनो, किसी को बोलते हैं कि इंजीनियर बनो, किसी को बोलते हैं कि आप एकेडमिशियन बनो. उसके अलावा क्या? एंड देयर आर इनफ एंड मोर पीपल टेलिंग यू कि रिस्क नहीं लो. डोंट टेक अ रिस्क. बट माई sincere suggestion to you, I am a middle-aged man here standing in front of you. My sincere suggestion to you, life goes by in a blink. I still remember my college days. Now all of a sudden I am 50. So life goes in a jiffy. You don't realize it. My kids are in college now. You don't realize it. And you're given only one life, by the way. You only live once. So live it well. Live it boldly. Dream big. Think big. Pursue it. If you fall, it's okay. If you pursue a dream and you fall, you fail, it's okay. You can always get up. You can always bounce back. You have enough. You are very, very well equipped with the kind of education you've received. So be bold, be ambitious, be aggressive. हाँ, the world will tell you. आप जो सोच रहे हो नामुमकिन है, नहीं होना है, पागल हो क्या? बोलेंगे आपको. People will discourage you. Initially they'll laugh at you. They'll mock you. Then they'll argue with you. And eventually when you win, they will clap for you. That is how the world works. So don't ever let somebody else tell you that you can't do something. I mean, not when it comes to snatching your phone, when your mom tells you, give me your phone. Not that kind of argument I'm talking about. I'm talking about dreams for life. My humble request to all of you, governments and institutions can only enable opening doors and, enable creating an environment, etc. But it's up to you to pursue those ambitions. Lastly, I'll say only one thing. Women, like I said, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, women belong in all places where decisions are being made, is what she said. And when we look around the world today, yes, there are some very, very important women who are increasingly shaping those spaces. Leaders like Angela Merkel, who guided Germany through some of Europe's most challenging economic and political movements. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern of New Zealand, who demonstrated how leadership can be both compassionate and decisive. Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, who broke barriers to become the first black woman Vice President of the US. And here in India, we have seen some remarkable women rise to positions of power and influence across different fields. Indra Nooyi, who went from Chennai to leading one of the world's largest global corporations like Pepsi. Geeta Gopinath, shaping economic thinking at the highest levels of global financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund. Falguni Nair, who built Nykaa into one of India's most successful unicorn/entrepreneurial stories. Kiran Bedi, the first lady IPS officer who challenged conventions and redefined leadership in public service. Srimati Mamata Banerjee, who built a political movement and went on to be the leader of one of India's largest states. These journeys remind us of something important. Glass ceilings are not permanent. They exist only until someone decides to break them. So maybe it is you girls who probably need to think bold and think big. It all begins, this journey to break glass ceilings begins in classrooms like this. It begins when young women like you begin to start thinking independently, speak confidently, and participate fearlessly just the way these guys did. So speak, debate, question, participate, because the future of democracy will not only be shaped in parliaments, it will also be shaped in places like this by young women who are prepared to lead. And I truly hope that many of the future leaders of our country emerge from institutions like this. And if any of you are interested in politics, any of you at all, I also extend open invitation to join me as I work to and come back in Telangana. So thank you very much. I sincerely appreciate this opportunity that has been given to me, and I compliment the organizers, especially Public Admin Head Lavanya Anjali Garu, who's invited me for this event. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. Jai Hind, Jai Telangana.